Hi friends, welcome. I'm Ronnie and I'm excited to be on my mat with you today. For today's class, we are moving into some beautiful balancing postures. If you have a couple of blocks or books, feel free to grab them. I highly recommend having these for this class. If you don't, that's totally okay. We'll still have some fun on our mats. Let's get started. The beauty of yoga is so limitless, and no matter what level you're at, you can always improve yourself. Being able to breathe on the mat and just flow or move or just stay still. This space is everything. It's home and it's just where I need to be. So we'll start class today by getting into child's pose, one of my favorite ways to start any class actually. Taking your knees wide, big toes come to touch. Press your hips back towards your heels. Stretch out the arms out in front of you and start to relax the forehead out onto the mat or onto a block. Get comfortable, so move around as you need to. If your knees feel too wide, feel free to bring them in a little bit. Just make sure that you are comfortable. So if they're not wide enough, make them wider. And as you press your hands into the mat to stretch your arms, start to relax your arms back down onto the mat. Find a little bit of space in the back of the neck. Let's start to acknowledge that sweet, slow, deep breath in. And breathe out. Keep that sweet breath moving in and out at your own pace. Getting as comfortable as you possibly can in this pose. Maybe finding that your arms and your chest start to Maybe finding that your arms and your chest start to relax a little bit more towards the mat as you breathe out. We're here for a couple more rounds of breath. On your next breath in, start to find your way up to all fours. As always, making sure that the shoulders are above the wrists, hips are above the knees. Just find a little bit of movement here. And then as you're ready, come into a neutral spine to start to move into our cat-cows. So start to lift your chest on your inhale. Tailbone lifts, maybe the head lifts. Cow pose. And as you exhale, draw the belly in. Tailbone tucks under. Crown of the head reaches down. Round your back, find cat pose. Moving with your own breath, with every inhale, finding cow posture. And with every exhale, finding cat posture, pressing into the mat, rounding the back. Couple more rounds at your own pace. draw me back in that neutral posture. So not rounding the back, not arching the back, bringing the knees in just a little bit. And then go ahead and stretch that right leg back. So lift the knees, stretch the leg back, press the heel towards the back of the room, stretching your calf, maybe even stretching the ankle. Reach the crown of the head forward. Then as you're ready, switch sides. So right knee comes to the ground. Stretch the left leg back. Tuck the toes under as you lift the knee. And then press that heel towards the back of the room. Feel that nice stretch through the back of your leg. And bringing that leg back. And start to find our first down dog here. Tuck the toes under, press the hips back. Start to lift the knees. Keep pushing the hips back and up. Keeping the knees bent or starting to walk your dog out, bending into one knee at a time. Doing whatever feels good for you. We're here to stretch. We're here to move. We're here to have fun. We're here to breathe. Start to shake out the head. Find any sort of movement that feels right for your body here. And then as you're ready, start to find some stillness in downward facing dog with your knees bent or straight. Just keep sending the hips up and back. Relax the head. Press into your hands, your fingers. And then as you're ready, start to walk the hands back towards your feet. Take the feet about hip width or a little bit wider, coming into a forward fold here. Start to lift halfway, walking the hands forward. And then as you breathe out, bent knees fold. Maybe grabbing the backs of your legs, the backs of your calves. Relax the head, send your hips up. Feel the stretch. And then release the hands, walk them forward, coming into plank pose for a moment. Breathe here. Then press it back into downward facing dog with knees bent or straight. Remember to breathe. Find stillness when you're ready, keeping the knees bent or straightening out the legs, drawing that low belly in. And once you're ready, look between the hands. Start to slowly walk the feet towards the hands, coming into a forward fold at the front of your mat. Feet are hip width apart, fold. Then start to come all the way up as slowly as you can. Your head is the last to arrive. Really find your feet under you here. We're going to come into mountain posture to really build a beautiful foundation for our balancing postures. So I want you to start to really feel your feet under you, maybe lifting the toes, spreading them all the way out as you lean back towards your heels. Palms can face forward here. Lift the toes, lift, 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 lift. And then coming forward onto the tippy toes, lifting the heels, lift, lift, lift. Relax the heels down as slowly as you can, maybe not as fast as I did there. And then coming back onto the heels, lift the toes. Lift them up high, stretch them right out. And then coming back onto your tippy toes, maybe finding a point to gaze at in front of you. Palms keep facing forward. Lift your heels. Find your calves working and then release the heels back down. Maybe slower than me if you can. Listen, for balancing, our bodies are always feeling a little bit different, just like our minds. We're sometimes out of whack or sometimes out of balance. And same thing here with balancing on our feet, balancing on our toes. We're bound to feel out of whack. Don't put so much pressure on it. Some days we have really good balancing days. Some days we have not such good balancing days, and that's totally okay. That's life. In life, we fall out of balance. That's just how it is. So let's start to lifting the toes, spreading them all the way out. Lift. We're feeling that weight back on our heels and then coming back on our tippy toes as gracefully as we possibly can. Lift the heels up, lift them up, lift them up, lift them up, lift, lift, lift. Start to release them down slowly. That was a little bit better for me. Then coming forward and back, just feeling your weight on top of that beautiful foundation through your feet here. Nice job. And as you're ready, let's start to bring our toes into touch. Heels are slightly apart. We're going to get a feel for our chair pose here, right? So we're going to dip the hips down. Hips go back and down. Try to see if you can take a look at your toes as you bend the knees. Draw that low belly in to protect your back. So I don't want you to stick your bum out too much here. You want to stick it out and down. Draw the low belly in. If you want, you can reach the arms up towards the sky, or for me, for my neck, my shoulders, it's better for me to just have my hands at heart center. So keep drawing that low belly in. Feel your legs working here. Maybe even lifting the toes. Breathe with it. Relax the shoulders. And start to lift. Come all the way up to standing. Nice work. If you had your feet together and that felt good for you, you can keep the feet together. If you're feeling like, hey, today I need a little more under me, I want to have my feet about hip width apart, I think that will feel better, that will feel more stable. It's your practice, your time on the mat. Do just that. So whatever feels good, do that. We're going to be here for a bit, just moving with it. So make sure that you're comfortable. I'm going to take my feet apart. So my feet are about hip width, and then I'm going to come into that chair pose as I dip the hips back, bending the knees, making sure that my toes, I can see my toes, maybe lifting the toes, maybe the arms are up, maybe they're down at heart center, maybe they're down by your sides. Do what feels right for you today on the mat. Nice work. Let's start to come all the way up. And then again, if you feel like it's going to be better for you to have the big toes together, do just that. Maybe for this posture, I'm feeling like it's going to feel a lot better. So I'm going to lift my heels here. So just feel out what feels good for you. If you fall out of it, totally okay. Just get back into it. I'm going to come into chair pose and lift our heels this time to work our calves. So start to come into chair pose. Arms are up or at heart center. Then start to lift both heels, maybe one heel at a time, whatever feels right for you. The knees might kiss if your feet are together. If not, that's okay. Keep lowering your booty towards the ground. Draw that low belly in. Lift the heels as much as you can. Lift, lift, lift. 2 more breaths. Release all all the way down. Nice work. Let's take the feet about hip width apart. Fold forward. Maybe grabbing onto your blocks here if you want. Maybe reaching your hands to the floor, maybe bending the knees a lot here. Maybe that's what you need, and that's what feels really good here. Find a halfway lift. Fold again. Feel that stretch through the backs of the legs. Find a halfway lift. Fold again. Remove the blocks if they're under your hands. Come into plank posture for a moment. Draw the low belly in. Reach the crown of the head forward. And come into downward facing dog. Press into the hands. You're going to work into a couple more balancing postures through this practice, really feeling it through our legs. That's why we wanted to build that nice foundation through the feet, through the toes, through the heels. One more breath in. One more breath out. Again, start to walk your feet towards your hands. Coming into a forward fold at the top of the mat, exhale. As you inhale, start to come all the way up. Maybe circle the arms up. Maybe you gaze up towards the thumbs. And then the hands come to heart center. Find that mountain posture for a moment. Feel your feet under you. Feel the soles of the feet on the earth. Reach the fingertips down, relax the shoulders. Let's take the feet together, big toes touch, heels are slightly apart. Come into that chair pose. Arms can come up or hands are at heart center. Draw that belly in. Booty comes towards the ground, back and down. Make sure you can gaze at your toes. Then look forward, coming into chair pose. Breathe here, strong quads. On your next breath in, start to come all the way up. Feet can stay together, or you can take them hip width apart, or you can keep them together, whatever feels good for you. Maybe you try it out and then you decide, hey, this isn't my day to keep them together, and you switch it up. Whatever feels good for you. Start to bend into the knees, coming into chair pose, this time lifting the heels, maybe one at a time, maybe both heels together. Lift them as high as you can, stay with it. Lower the booty just a little bit more. Nice work, stay with it. Oh, I'm losing it. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Release down, fold forward. Nice job. Take the feet hip width apart. Find that halfway lift, neutral back. And fold, coming into plank posture. Pushing back into downward facing dog. Stretch out the backs of the legs. We're here for 2 more rounds of breath. As you're ready, reach that right leg up towards the sky. Bend the knee, step the foot between the hands. Coming into a lunge here. Grab a hold of your blocks. Bring them to whatever height feels right for you. And then come into warrior 3 here. So starting to lift that back leg up as you bend into the front knee. Reach the leg back, reach the heel back. Maybe your hands stay on the blocks. Maybe you lift them up. Trying to keep that right hip lifted, left hip down so the hips are square to the ground. Reach the back toes down towards the earth. Beautiful. Start to bend into that front knee. Release that back foot to the ground. Come back into your lunge. Reach the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And then down to the earth. Step the right foot back. Plank posture for a moment. Come into your downward facing dog. Nice work. Maybe noticing the difference between your right and left leg. Breathe. As you're ready, start to reach that left leg up towards the sky. Bend the knee, step the foot between the hands. Keep that back knee lifted and start to place our hands on the block. Keep the front knee bent. Start to lift that back foot off of the earth. Keep the micro bend in that left knee. Square the right hip down towards the mat. Lift the left hip. Lift out of that left quad here. Reach the back heel back towards the back of the room like we did in that first stretch. Flex the foot, toes are down. Breathe here. As you breathe out, start to release that back leg as you bend into the front knee. Come into that lunge. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Step that right foot up. Come into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Forward fold, maybe using the blocks. Feel that stretch through the backs of the legs here. Inhale, come all the way up. Circle the arms up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Maybe closing down the eyes for a moment. Breathe. However you did in the balancing postures so far, it's not about how you did in the balancing postures. It's about the fact you got on your mat today. Keep that in mind. Let's bring the hands back down by the sides, palms face forward. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to find that fold. Hips are up, up, up. Feel that stretch through the backs of your legs. Inhale, find a halfway lift. As you exhale, plant the palms, step back into plank pose. Stay here for a moment. Draw that belly in. Exhale, find down dog. That stretch should feel so nice through the backs of the legs now. It should feel so nice for your calves, so nice for your hamstrings. I'm going to come into that warrior pose on each side one more time. So when you're ready, reach the right leg up towards the sky. Reach, reach, reach. Bend the knees, step the foot between your hands. Maybe bringing the blocks back. Keep the knee bent. That front knee is bent. And then once you're ready, try not to put too much pressure into the blocks or into the mat if your hands are on the mat. Try to just have light pressure here. The blocks are just here to assist us, not strengthen us right now. Then when you're ready, lift that back leg up off the ground, squaring the hips to the mat. Lift, lift, lift. Keep that micro bend in that front leg. We're trying to get head to toe, or I guess our head to our left. Yeah, I'm losing balance here. But we're trying to get our head to our left heel parallel to the ground. It's totally okay if you lose balance. Totally okay. Just get back into the posture. Breathe. And as you breathe out, bend into the front leg. Come back into your lunge. Breathe in, arms up. Breathe out. Hands come to the mat. Come into plank posture for a moment. Find downward facing dog. Nice job. Stay with it. Stay with the breath. Find movement in the legs if you need to. Or just notice the difference between the two sides. Reach the hips high. Press into the hands, the fingers. When you're ready, reach that left leg up towards the sky. Reach, reach, reach. And then step it between the hands. Finding your lunge, back knee stays lifted. Maybe the hands come onto the blocks lightly, and then start to lift that back leg off the ground, keeping the hips as square as possible. Reach the crown of the head forward. Maybe the hands come to heart center. Keep that back leg lifted. Breathe. Use that foundation in the left leg, and as you're ready, release that back leg to the earth. Hands come to the blocks or the mat. Actually step that back foot up to the front of the mat. Find a halfway lift here and fold. Stretch it out. Inhale, come all the way up. Circle the arms up towards the sky. Look up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Close down the eyes. I'm going to come into one of my favorites and probably a lot of other people's favorites, and that's tree pose. So just taking, and I can face this way for this one, but coming onto that right foot, feeling that strength through that right foot, that right leg, and then maybe your left foot comes to the ankle. Opening up through the left hip, try to pull that right hip up. Right leg is really strong. I'm doing the left side on this one first for some reason, but we'll just go with it. If you'd like to go a little bit further, maybe that left foot comes onto the inside of your left thigh. Finding that opening through the hip and making sure to keep that strength through the right leg. So pull that right hip up. Feel the strength through the right leg. Feel that foundation that we built at the very beginning of class. Strong right leg, strong right quad. Try not to scrunch your toes into the mat. Relax the toes. Keep lifting through that right side. Maybe the hands are at heart center. Maybe they're by your sides or on your waist. Breathe. And as you're ready, start to release that foot down. Just noticing the difference between the two legs if you don't need to. No need to shake it out. Then start to build that really nice strong foundation through the left leg. Maybe the hands are on your waist to start with. And then bring that foot in. Lift it. Open the hip. Find tree posture. Vrikshasana on this side. If you want to go a little further, maybe you pull that foot into the thigh. Keep pressing that left leg into that right foot, the sole of the foot. Push it in. If you fall out, just make sure to get back into the posture. It's totally okay. We all fall out of these balancing postures at one point or another if we practice, if we get onto our mats enough times to do so. And then as you're ready, start to slowly release that foot down. Nice work. Everyone's likely at the top of your mat already, but I'll come back here. Circle the arms up. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find a nice halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms. Come back to plank posture. This time we're going to hold plank posture just for a moment. Feel your feet under you. Feel your hands under you. Draw the belly in. Breathing here. Try not to scrunch into the shoulders. Breathe. When you're ready, release the knees down as slowly as you can. Beautiful work. Find child's pose, either with the knees apart or together. Big toes touch. Stretch the arms out in front of you. Release the chest, the head. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth to let it go. Couple more just like that at your own pace. And seal the lips again. Stay in child's pose for a few more breaths. Relax the shoulders. Maybe noticing the difference in your legs. Maybe pushing down a little more. Feeling that cushioning through the calves. Nice work. When you're ready, swing your legs out in front of you. Let's start to lay all the way down. You can bring your blocks with you. Lay all the way down. And come into a couple of supine twists here. Let's pull the knees into the chest to start with. Pull them in. Maybe rocking side to side for a moment. Then keeping that right knee in, stretch the left leg out in front of you. Adjust as you need to. Stretch that right arm out. Twist that right knee towards the left side. Maybe that block comes under the knee at whatever height feels good for you. Making sure your shoulder blades are on the mat. Switch sides as you're ready. Pull both knees into the chest first. Stretch the right leg out. Twist towards the right side. Stretch out the left arm. Again, maybe using the help of the block to bring the ground closer to your inner thigh. As you're ready, remove the block if you were using one. Bring the knees back to center, pull them into the chest, maybe giving your knees a hug, giving your legs a hug, lifting your head, rounding the back. When you're ready, release the feet to the ground. Take the feet about mat width wide, knees are apart. Start to windshield wiper the knees side to side, just laying here. Our legs were so kind to us today through those balancing postures. Like I said before, some days those can feel really easy. Some days they can feel a little harder. Totally okay. That's just a part of life. Stretch your legs out in front of you when you're ready. Arms are out by your sides. Move any blocks or props out of the way. Palms up. Slight tuck of the chin. Close down the eyes if it feels okay. Relax here. Let it all go. Your calves and your quads worked hard. Let it go. Let them rest. Feel the muscles fall heavy off the bones into the earth. Relax the arms. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Part the lips, let it out. Let go of any control of the breath, any control of the face. Relax. Relax. As always, I invite you to stay here in Shavasana for as long as your time allows, as long as you allow yourself. If you're ready to come up with me, start to bring some movement into the fingers, movement into the toes. Let's stretch the arms up overhead. Point the toes, bring the feet together. Stretch the toes. Get as tall as you possibly can. Reach, reach, reach. And release. Bend into the knees. Come on to whatever side feels good for you today. Pause here for a moment. Relax for a moment. And as you're ready, start to make your way up to a comfortable seat. Keep the eyes closed if you can. Maybe giving your calves, your legs a little rub of kindness. Let's take the palms to kiss. Thumbs are at your third eye. Bow the head. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat. Again, if you're coming back for the first time, if you're new here, I appreciate all of you so much. Remember to love yourself and be kind. Namaste.